classroom for today will be recorded and attendance will be taken. Yes, this call is being recorded. Yeah. Okay, a few announcements. All right. So if you're aware, the latest development on the reopening of the school, you all will be back to school on, what is the date? I think just after the school holiday in April, right? So I'll check the calendar first, yeah. On April what? 5th of April, right? 5 April, you all come back to school, okay? But that is about what we call another, now is 3 and then 4, maybe another month, yeah? Another month, because nowadays the SPM start today, okay? And then based on the latest announcement, the ministry has announced that reopening of school for secondary school student on 5th of April 2021. Okay, but that is, like I said earlier, it is about 1 month from now. Okay, within that time period, okay, anything could happen lah. All right, but never mind. So it means that we are going to do online class until April lah, until April. Okay. And then number 2, for the new timetable, because last week the school still arrange what we call try to arrange for the new timetable, okay, for the second timetable during the online classes, but still not update and then still not finished. So for the time being, for this week, we are using the old timetable lah, then the what we call the current timetable. All right, the current timetable will be using the current timetable for this week until further announcement. Yeah, until further announcement by the school if they want to change the timetable later. Yeah, but for this week, I have been told that we are still using the old timetable lah, the current timetable. Okay, that is my announcement number 2, right? So can we start the class right now? Now it's 10:38 in the morning. We start the class right now, right? Okay. Okay, can you see my presentation? I hope you can see my presentation. So our next topic for today is on still on topic 2.3, the interdependence and interaction among organisms and between organism and the environment. So last week we already learned about the terminology that you need to remember. For example, how many terms you need to remember? Number 1, what is the habitat, right? And then the population, species, community, and ecosystem. Okay, you must understand these terms and then try to picture it inside your mind. What is the habitat, species, population, community, and ecosystem? Okay, page 28. And then we also learned about what we call the adaptation of living things to the environment and their interaction between organisms. Interaction is a very important topic, very popular topic. You must remember in chapter 2, because there are how many interaction between the organism? Okay, there are 3 interaction. Not 3 lah. If I conclude symbiosis also, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 interaction, mutualism, and then commensalism, parasitism, prey predator, and then competition. Make sure you understand all the interaction, and then what are the organism, the example of organism involved in each interaction between organism, right? And then next one, we also already learned about that's okay. Last time we stopped at interaction between organism. Interaction between organism. Make sure you understand the how many interaction. There are 5 interaction. Make sure you understand that. So today we are going to learn a new topic. All right, we call it biological control. Right, we call it biological control. So what is biological control? Okay. Like usual, you must understand the meaning of this term, biological control. Okay, you just remember it is just a method, the way, okay, that we use organism as a natural predators, right? Parasite or pathogen to reduce the number of pests in the area. This is what we call by biological control, right? Usually, if you want to get rid of another animal, for example, in agriculture, we want to kill other pests. We want to kill the pest. What is the pest here? What is pest? P-E-S-T. Okay. What is the pest? Usually, for example, pest animal is like rats, and then what else? The rhinoceros beetle, and then the animal that may damage or ruin the agricultural product. For example, this is what we call by pest. We do not want this animal to because this animal will do more harms than good for us, right? So usually we need to get rid of the pest here by using pesticide, right? Pesticide. Pesticide mean pesticide. Pesticide mean the poison to kill the pest. Pest example here. Example of pest is what? It's rats. What is the example of the pest? Mosquito, right? Mosquito and others. This is example of what we call the example of pest here. So usually, how do you want to get rid of the pest? How do you want to kill the pest? We use pesticide. Pesticide is just a poison to kill the pest. Okay, poison to kill the pest, and then to get rid or to kill all the pests. But it is very dangerous because maybe not only the pest will kill, maybe others animal also, if they try if they ingest or they try to eat the poison food or eat the poison, and then maybe others animal will die also. Okay, this is very dangerous lah. So they find a way to use their what we call to use others animal interaction. They use other animal that is what we call the enemy, the what we call the predator of the pest itself. They use it to what we call to kill the pest, right? So they use, for example, here, if they want to kill the rats, they do not use the pesticide. They don't use the poison. They use what we call oil, because oil is what? Oil is the natural enemy of the pest, because oil will eat the rats. So they use oil in the palm oil plantation, for example, here to control the population of the rats, so that they don't use poison. They will reduce the usage of poison or pesticide. They just kept the owls inside the what we call plantation to control the population of rat. This is what we call by biological control. Okay. Just the want to reduce the use of chemical. Chemical here is the poison lah. Can you understand this? What is biological control? Okay. Example. Owls are kept in palm oil, all right, to control the population of the rats. Okay, so that people do not use reduce the usage of poison to kill the rats. Okay, they just what you call use the owls. Okay. And then number 2, the Bacillus thuringiensis used to control pests, namely the rhinoceros beetle in palm oil plantation. Right? This is number 2. And then number 3, the guppy is predator. The guppy fish here, this is what we call guppy fish, is the predator to the mosquito, and then it will eat the mosquito larva in the pond here. So we will try not to use poison, but we use natural enemy of the pest itself to eat them in order to control the number of pests, right? This is 3 example lah in your textbook. There are many example, but this is just 3 example here, right? Owls, Bacillus thuringiensis, and then the guppy. What is this one? Ladybirds eat aphid, a crop pest. Okay, aphid is the crop pest. For example, this is example number 4. And then for example number 5, ducks are reared in paddy field to eat pests such as snail and insect. Right? These are the example of what we call by biological control in Malaysia. Just a few, what we call a few example about biological control in Malaysia. But you must understand here, what is the mean of biological control. Take, for example, you must understand this. Excuse me. You take another animal that is a nature, what we call the predator of the pest. You use it. You use the interaction. What kind of interaction is this? If you already learned, we already learned last week. What type of interaction they use in here in biological control? Anybody? What is the interaction they use in biological control? How many interaction? Last week we already learned about interaction. How many interaction? Anybody? Wong Wei Ro. Yes, they are using prey-predator interaction for biological control. Yes, Bijali, they are using prey-predator. Okay, they use the common enemy of the animal, and then they use it to benefit us, so that we don't rely on the poison, because poison is very dangerous, right? Poison do not kill pests only, but if we try to use the poison uncontrollably, it will also poison the human and others animal as well. That's why we try to use the interaction, the prey-predator interaction, to reduce the number of pests. And then you remember the example here. Owls, and then Bacillus thuringiensis, the guppy eat the mosquito larva, and then the ladybird beetle eat aphid, and the ducks are reared in paddy field to eat pests such as snail and insect. Right. Okay, next one. Why we use biological control? It is more environmental friendly. Okay, we call it more environmental friendly because it does not use pesticide, okay, or chemical. Right. Number one, because it is environmental friendly, do not use pesticide or chemical, right? And then number 2, why they use biological control, Because the method is cheaper and does not help human, do not affect the human health, right? So the second reason why they use biological control does not affect human health, and then it is cheaper. Okay, that is the what we call the benefit of biological control. But like every method, there is a weakness. So what is the weakness here? Weakness is number one, take a long time before any effect is seen, and then the balance of the ecosystem might be disrupted because new species is introduced into the ecosystem. Okay, the balance might be disrupted, right? So for example, we already learned about the food chain and the food web, right? Page 24. Page 24. For example here, yeah? Page 24. I will go to page 24. The food web and food chain. Right here, right? So for example here, you see the food chain here. What is meaning by disrupt the what? Disrupt the ecosystem. Disrupt the balanced ecosystem. What does it mean? For example here, okay, if the number of, for example, if the number of birds, okay, just example, if the number of bird is decrease, if the number of bird is decrease, if the number of bird decrease, what happened to the snake? And then what happened to the caterpillar? What happened to the snail and grasshopper, for example? Snake will decrease. Is it true? If the number of snail is the number of bird is increased, and then suddenly all the frog will decrease. So what happened? Suddenly there is no frog, and then the number of bird is okay. Sorry, again. Sometimes a bit confused here, right? Okay, if the number of bird, again, if the number of bird is decreased, okay, and then suddenly the frog, the number of frog is also suddenly all the frog in the ecosystem or in the area is destroyed. What happened to the snake? What happened to the snake? Increase or decrease snake? Suddenly there is no frog, all right? Suddenly in the ecosystem, all frog is die, all destroyed. And then at the same time, the number of bird decrease. So what happened to the snake? What happened to the snake? Increase or decrease? I cannot see the chat function, right? All right. Decrease. Okay. So the what we call the number of snake will also decrease. Okay. What happened to the number of caterpillar, snail, and grasshopper? What happened to this animal, the primary consumer? What happened? Increase or decrease? Okay, Liao Yintong, Wamantai. Yes, very good. So the number of caterpillar, snail, and grasshopper is increased. Because why? Because the number of birds is decreased, and then there is no more frog, so there is no what we call secondary consumer, right? There is no secondary consumer to eat the primary consumer, so the primary consumer here will increase in number. Okay, caterpillar will increase, snail will increase, and then grasshopper will increase. Okay, so what happened to the producer when the primary consumer number is increased? What happened to the cabbage here? The cabbage will also, yes, will decrease. because there is too much, because there is too much primary consumer. Caterpillar is increased, snail is increased, grasshopper is increased, and then they will eat all the cabbage, the producer, until it is decreased in number. All right, this is what happened. All right, this is the example. What happened if we disrupt the what? We disrupt the balance of the ecosystem. All right, for example here, okay. Okay, can you understand this? Okay, can we continue? Right. So the next topic here is factor that influence the population size in an ecosystem. Factor that influence the population size in ecosystem. All right. You still remember what is ecosystem? Anybody care to explain or tell me what is the meaning of ecosystem? Sorry, meaning the population. Okay. What is population? Meaning that same species, right? Same species, yes. We wrote same species live together. Live together. This is what we call by population. How many same species? 2 or more. Same species that live together. Okay, this is the what we call by population. Okay, this is population. All right. Okay. So the question here is, how does the population size change in an ecosystem? There is a fluctuation. Yeah, the population is not unique. The population size in an ecosystem is not what we call maintained. Sometimes the population will go up, and then sometimes the population to go down. Okay, population here meaning the number of animal or organism in the same species that live together. All right. Not all the time, the number of ecosystem will be the same. Sometimes goes up and then sometimes goes down. It fluctuates. Sometimes there is more population, sometimes there is a less population. So in this topic, what are the factors that influence the size? All right, this is what we call the size, the number of population size, right? So there are how many? There are number 1, disease, presence of predator, sources of food, and then the change of weather. How many factors here? There are 4 factors affecting the population size in ecosystem. Okay, again, disease, predator, food, and weather. Okay, so we go one by one. What is the first factor? That is disease. Okay, the population animal plant decrease when a disease strike, meaning that if there is a disease, for example, maybe there is a very contagious disease appear out of nowhere. Suddenly there is a disease that struck the population. So the population of the animal and plant may decrease. For example, what? The avian flu. Okay, what we call the H1N1 in poultry rearing area. The disease that infect chicken. Okay, suddenly there is a disease. So what happened to the population of the chicken? The population of chicken will decrease because of the disease. All right. Or what we call here tobacco mosaic virus in tobacco crops. Okay, This is one of the what we call virus or disease in plant. Yeah, tobacco is one of the plant. And suddenly there is a virus, there is the disease that struck the organism, and then what happened to the organism population? The population will decrease. Okay. Factor number 1, finish. What is factor number 2? The presence of predator. For example, if there is predator in the area, so suddenly the size of population will decrease, right? For example, the size of zebra will decrease when there is a predator such as lion. Okay, suddenly there is an increase. That's why we already learned about the food chain and food web, right? So if suddenly predator increase, so what happened to the prey? Prey will decrease. Okay, when the predator decrease, prey will increase. Okay, this is what we call the factor, one of the factor of involving the size of population here. Okay, next one, the sources of food. This one also very easy. If the sources of food decrease, what happened to the population? Food decrease, population decrease or increase? The third factor. This one very easy one. Of course, yes, Liao Yingtong, very good. When the food decrease, the population will also decrease. Okay. And then when the food increase, the population is most likely to also increase. Okay. Okay, panda, for example, panda depend on bamboo, and then clearing the forest will cause the destruction of the food, and then the panda will not survive lah, because the sources of food is decreased. Yeah. Okay, very easy one. And then the last one is change of weather. Change of weather. What are the example of very extreme weather? Droughts. Okay, droughts mean the weather is very hot, become dry and hot. As the example, as the result, the population of plant and animal will decrease. When there is too much what we call extreme weather. Extreme weather means, for example, drought, kemarau, when there is a very hot condition, and then there is water ponds or water will evaporate. The dry is become very dry, and then there will be decrease in population, because population, some of the animal will not stand the extreme weather, whether it is extreme hotness or flood. Flood also will maybe will affect the population. Kalau banjir, if suddenly there is flood, and then the animal cannot go anywhere, and then the population will decrease because of the flood. They will drown in the water, for example. Right? Okay, can you understand this? Our second topic for today is what? The factor that influence the size of population. How many factors? 5. You just remember change of weather, and then what? And then sorry, change of weather, food, predator, disease, and only 4. Sorry, only 4. Okay. Change of weather, predator, food, and disease. Okay, there are 4 factors. Okay, and then you must identify which one. If there is disease, what happened to the population? Population will go down. If there is what we call food, when there is less food, what happened to the population? Population also goes down. And then predator, when there is more predator, what happened to the population? The population also goes down. And then the last one is change of weather. Yeah? When there is extreme weather, not normal weather. Normal weather, maybe they can cope, maybe they can adapt. But extreme weather, suddenly there is a drought, suddenly there is a flood, Okay, they cannot survive, so the population will decrease. Okay. All right, last topic for today. Change in ecosystem. What are the example of changes in ecosystem? Changes in ecosystem. Number one, limited water supply. Number two, animal migration and the decrease or increase in population size. Okay, so how many changes in ecosystem? Number one, limited supply. Number two, animal migration. And number three, the decrease or increase in population size. Okay, this is the changes in ecosystem. So we go one by one. What is meaning by limited water supply? The first changes, right? Limited water supply. I give you the example here of the paddy plant here. Paddy plant. Okay, because paddy plant require a lot of water, right? If there is long drought season, hot season, there will be changes in ecosystem because the balance between population will be interrupted. So if there is no water, the paddy plant cannot survive, so it will disrupt the ecosystem, or the paddy plant will die. Okay, the food web will be affected because the population of producer is paddy is decreased. Okay, this is what changed the ecosystem altogether. For example, the ecosystem of the paddy field is not include. It is not also. It is not just the paddy field. Okay, what else live in the paddy field? If you know, we call it the ecosystem of the paddy field, right? What else do you think live in the paddy field? If you look what we call by the ecosystem of the paddy field, what else live? Do you think what is the others animal that live in the paddy field? There is a what? Maybe there is a snake, and then maybe there is a snail, and then maybe there is a fish. The fish that live in the paddy field, because paddy field need a lot of water, right? Yes, Lim Jin Xuan, the fish, and maybe the snake, and then maybe the leech. Yes, of course, there is very big leech inside the water. Yes, that's all organism live in the paddy field or the paddy ecosystem. So if there is no water, can you imagine what happened to the paddy field? All right, paddy will die, and then what happened to the others organisms such as leech, fish, snake? What happened to the others animal? The others animal also what we call affected, and then will decrease. Okay, this is what we call by the changes in ecosystem. Right. The ecosystem of the paddy field. Okay, not just the paddy field will decrease or will die, it also affect the other organism as well. Okay, because paddy field, paddy is a producer. Okay, is a producer, meaning that the primary consumer will eat the producer. But what happens if the producer itself is destroyed or die? The primary consumer cannot eat the producer, and then the primary consumer will also decrease or also die. Okay, so that is number one. Number two is what we call by migration. What is migration? Is the moving from one place to another place moving from one place to another due to a change of season. This is migration. Usually animals, animal will migrate. All right. For example, the cattle egrets, the birds here. This is an example of the migration. migrates to Kuala Gula, Perak from September to April every year. As a result, the number of insect, grasshopper, cricket, and spider decrease as they eaten by the egrets. Okay, birds, the egrets birds, migrate from another other place to the new place, maybe from September to April. Maybe about how many months? September, maybe September, maybe about 6 months. They will migrate to from another place to the new place for maybe a few months. A few months, maybe 5 to 6 months, and then when the birds migrate to the new place, what happened to the ecosystem or to the organism at the new place? Such as grasshopper, cricket, spider will also decrease because there is an increased number of organisms migrate from other place to the new place. Okay, so this will also maybe disrupt a bit maybe disrupt the ecosystem of the new place. Okay, so this is what we call by migration, the migration here. But what happened? What happened after the month of April? After the month of April, when the birds migrate back to their origin or to their original place, what happened to the grasshopper and cricket? After the month of April. Okay, what happened to the Liao Ying Tong? Okay, the population of grasshopper insect will increase back. All right, so this is the second factor of the changes in ecosystem. Right. So next one, number 3, the change in population size. The change in the population size. The size of population can decrease or increase because of the change in another population. Okay, for example, the increase of pests such as beetle and caterpillar will cause the population of plant to decrease. Okay, this is very easy for you to understand lah. Size of one population, the size depend on the other's population. Okay, for example, when the population of the predator is increased, the other population of the prey will decrease. Okay, depend on the size of population, others population. This is what we call the dependence, interdependence, right? Usually the prey predator lah, usually the prey and predator interaction. Prey predator interaction. Okay, one population, for example, one population of lion suddenly increase, and then what happened to the population of deer or zebra will decrease. Okay, it depends on the number or the size of population. Okay, usually in prey predator interaction. For example, overpopulation of beetle will destroy crops. Crops is what? Crop is the plant plant that we plant for our sources of food. We call crops. Okay, for example, paddy field. Paddy field is a crops, right? And then you can do further investigation. You can go to the internet and then you can search for locust attack. Locust attack. Okay, which destroy crops. There are millions of what we call this is locust. Locust is what is the name here? Belalang. Belalang panggil apa in English? Grasshopper. Yes, the grasshopper. There are millions of grasshopper. Suddenly, there are million and million of grasshopper attacking the crops. Okay, the change of population. You imagine? Suddenly there is million of grasshopper, we call it locust, locust, okay, attacking the agriculture, attack the plant, and then what happened to the plant? The plant will decrease. Okay. For example here, the cornfield, jagung ini as wide as 800 hectare will destroy in just a few hours because there is an increase of grasshopper population. Not the increase is very big. Yeah, million of grasshopper attack the field, and then the population of the corn will destroy in matter of hours, right? Okay, any question before we stop here? If there is any question? Okay, if there is no question, so like usual, we already finished 2.3. So I need you to finish formative practice 2.3. You copy the question and then you answer it on your exercise book as usual, right? And then for the workbook exercise, okay, for workbook exercise, your science process skill form 2, you can continue to do your work, page 20 and 21. Page 20 and 21. Sorry. Yes, page 20 and page 21. Okay, page 20 and 21 on your workbook, and then the formative practice 2.3 on your textbook. Okay, any question? Okay, like usual, if you have any question, you can ask me on our Telegram group. Yeah. Okay. So we stop right here. So make sure you do my exercise. So we'll be meeting again next class on Friday lah, yeah? On Friday. Okay. On Friday, I will finish 2.4, right? The last subtopic for chapter 2 on Friday, and then we'll try to discuss. If you have any question that you do not understand, we will try to discuss on Friday. And then next week, we start new chapter. Chapter 3, I will start next week. Okay, what is chapter 3? Chapter 3 is nutrition. Nutrition, I will start next week. So we'll be meeting you again this Friday. Okay, we try to discuss if you have any question about chapter 3, chapter 2 or chapter 1. We try to discuss that on this Friday, and then I will start chapter 3 on Monday next week. Is it okay? Clear, huh? Okay, very good. So now it's 11:18. You do my work. So I see you on Telegram group, yeah? I will see you in Telegram group after this. So you can leave my class now. Thank you very much. Thank you for your focus and your cooperation. Okay, you can leave the class now. Okay, bye-bye. See you next Friday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all. Okay, you can leave the class now.